really see any cumulative dust has been there. As you see, I'm gilding this after I painted. You can do it before. I think I mentioned yesterday that the advantage of gilding after is it gives you freedom to change the design of your icon if you haven't gilded. So I'm sticking my brush in here about a third of the way in, taking a lot of it off. I'm moving it around so I can see the reflection. See where I'm going.
How do you stop the gold then from sticking onto your image if you gild afterwards?
But I won't stick the image. It's no. The only reason I might, if you've got far too much egg in your painting and it's too greasy, if you're afraid of that, if you feel it is really shiny and greasy, you can always dust it with whiting and then dust that off. That will absorb any greasiness.
Whitening, you mean
Short.
chalk?
Short, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a bit of a balancing act between brushing enough to spread it up thinly and not over brushing. Because if it begins to stiffen and you're brushing it, what's going to happen? You're going to leave your brush strokes in. So you've probably got about 1 minute after painting it on for you to spread it out. After that it will begin to stiffen and you don't want to brush further. You must cover everything because you can't really patch with oil gilding. It would always look terrible. So you must be really careful you haven't missed anything out. That's why I'm holding it like this so I can see the reflection. When you're going around your outline, if in doubt, go too far. You can always scrape the gold off. But if you don't go far enough, you won't be able to add the gold on efficiently anyway. It will always be noticeable.
And you did say for the complicated bits you could use a smaller brush.
Yeah. Use the big one as much as possible because the trouble with the small brush, you'll tend to get sort of lumps and bumps. So it's better to use, if you can, the large brush and sort of stretch it out. Or if you like, put it in with the small brush, but then try to tease it out with the large one. You just don't want any lumps and bumps. The reason you want it thin is that if you apply thickly, the top part of the sides will dry first, and then later what's underneath will dry. Unless the bottom stuff dries, that will contract, and the skin formed on the top will begin to crinkle, so you'll get a crinkle effect with your final gilding, which doesn't look very nice.
What did you say about crinkling?
If you put it onto the starting too thickly, the surface will dry first, won't it, forming a skin, and then the stuff underneath will dry later, and as it dries, it contracts, and it will cause the skin to contract, and then it will crinkle, and so you won't get a good smooth surface. So that's why you must spread it out as thinly as possible. That's why a slightly stiff brush is better than a really soft one. A soft one won't allow you to spread it out so thinly. On the other hand, a really stiff brush, like a bristle, would leave marks. And
what would you do, Aidan, if you accidentally splashed a little bit onto your painting?
just leave it, and then when it's all dry, get a scalpel and scrape it off and repaint material.
Okay.
If you try to take it off, you'll smear it
Okay.
over a large area and you have to scrape more paint off.
You wouldn't put like a paper cut out over it?
Well, it's so
you
sticky
just
this, it won't, it's not like water can splash.
Okay.
It's not going to splash anywhere.
Okay.
when this icon's gilded, I'm going to have to paint over the edge of the gold. So I'll mix up some of this paint here and paint over it to crispen up the edge, because the paint's got to have the last word over the top of the gold. So that's the downside, of course, of gilding after you paint. You've got a bit of work to finish off the edge. Do a double check to make sure there are no parts missed. We've got a bit of a problem, but we've got a lot of places to hide these. We'll look in the wardrobes there and see if you can put some of our... excellent, yeah. Okay, so I've got room for one more here. Sealable. Don't use a cardboard box, was popular, I did it once, and there's more dust inside than out. So someone can use this one if you like. Okay, any questions?